What's up, guys? It's Mr. Javid, and today we're back on the Pokemon Showdown server. And my apologies for yesterday's audio. I did mess up the audio in yesterday's vid, which is funny because it did actually very well when I woke up. I think it was either number 2 or the number 1 performing video. So that sucked. But today we're going to be using this Lele team passed to me by user Irony. And something I'd like to point out, guys, when I use a team, it literally says at the top, blank's team. So please do not ask me why such and such, why I chose to run an item, or because it's not my team. I import every team. If I build it, I'll tell you, but it's very rare unless I do like a team building vid, which is coming soon. I have a lot of things coming for you guys, but I just wanted to point that out because I think people forget that these aren't my teams. I think with the Gardevoir team yesterday, I want to say somebody asked me something because there were 2 versions of that video, so I'm not sure. But yeah, that Gardevoir team, if you didn't get to catch yesterday's live, lost us like a lot of points. So we're grinding back up. We're 1701, and we got a lot of work to do. But it seems like a potential fun team, and so we can see what we can do here. As let's break it down, because that's something that that's very important. So Lele, speed tier, why am I modest? See, I should really look at these teams before. I was gonna say speed tier wise, I'm decent versus his team, but I'm modest here, which doesn't help considering I'm slower than. I'm literally slower than everything. I can't outspeed Boom, cause Psychic Terrain means Grassy's Glide can't. Well, if he's Jolly Boom, then I don't outspeed. So let's adapt. Swampert's important for Cinderace and Excadrill here defensively. Clefable is going to be important for Pheromosa and Urshifu, and primarily Hawlucha. I can't really let Clef get hit, so it's actually not going to be there for Urshifu, and I'm going to have to play very wisely around Urshifu. In fact, I'm going to try to overwhelm his team first because of how problematic that is, and he's very weak to my Cinderace, and so that's something I'm going to keep in mind as well. So let's assume that he's one of those just, okay, I lead drill and do my drill things kind of player. What is our countermeasure for something of that nature, right? Torn's going to be there primarily for Rilla, and a countermeasure for Cinder and Urshifu. This is actually tough stuff. But I know what I must do, considering I'm expecting drill, right? And so, since I can't really stop rocks, and I'm not expecting to, I'm gonna punish the remainder of his team heavy. If this is Sash, then I punish the Sasher anyway, and then knock covers for any kind of shenanigans he might opt for. So goes for the Earthquake, no surprise there, as we're gonna lead seed here. And so now he has a decision. Okay, do I commit to stealth route? Rapid spinning, which I do think he's gonna do. As I spike there. And now I go Torn. Spinning didn't make sense there to do. And so what this allows is for me to defog on the option. If he spins here, I wonder what his other move would be. Probably Toxic. So I should have done was kill the drill on. Let me see. Turn 1, I spiked. Knock. I should have knocked there. I should have power whipped. I didn't want to miss. But in hindsight, it doesn't make that big of a difference. I guess it matters if he's toxic or not. So it's Tomb. And so this allows for me to go Ace and Sucker. Offensively, he struggles with it, so he can't really afford to switch out. And I'm adamant Ace, so that definitely was going to knock him out. This allows for Pheromosa to rear its ugly head if that's his mon of choice. But as I said, you're going to find out what the Pheromosa is. He can opt for U-turn if he so chooses. Clef is pretty obvious for me, so I'd assume that he'd think that my Clef would be my Mon of choice. I also don't know if he just straight up attack me. Pharaoh is going to be my Mon of the sack protective paths. Interesting. So Cinderace raised this ugly head, and then it's going to U-turn out, and then back comes in Pheromosa. Well, no, Pheromosa can't come in because of how poorly he guards against Clef. So I'll let him take Ferrothorn here for the bit of damage he's going to have. So since he's protective pads, he's a lot weaker, which means I can go Lele here and get a kill. I don't think Pheromosa learns a move that could... Well, it could be like... I mean, what would... If you turn with protective pads, you're clearly physical, so... I'd assume Icy, whatever that thing is called... triple axle, U-turn, close combat, maybe rapid spin. Too much, I don't know. So what I'm gonna do here is, because I could see poison jab coming out. If U-turn is his play of choice, I do want to be healed on what I'm expecting to be Cinderace coming in. The Moonblast damage isn't gonna matter too much. So again, not enough information. If he opts for, because this is responsible for most of his team, to beat most of his team, beats the Pharaoh, beats the... So there's the Cinderace, as I said. And Swampert has to come in here. Forces Rillaboom, which I'm, not the biggest fan of, but upside is... Well, like, I guess it depends on whether or not it is, because I keep forgetting Grassy Glide is not a I'm curious as to what this has to hit me. Knockoff. Okay, that's not bad. In fact, he has no switching into this, so because I can defog here. Defogging would get rid of his terrain, and okay, I hit, which is great. Sucker should knock me out, but upside again, defog gets rid of terrain, but Swampert is easily my best Mon here. I'm not sure if he's thinking a ton. I mean, because it Torn, unless he's gonna double back to Cinderace. Problem is you can't knock me out with Sucker, so that's why I'm like, I don't know if he was thinking the last time or he's just like hoping, because the double out, the U-turn on Cinder, rather than, like, let's say I missed the Hurricane, right? He didn't have a countermeasure. I guess he could go back to Pheromosa. I don't know. Maybe he's just the type like, oh, I have you in the vortex, I'm gonna U-turn away, and the things of this nature. Because I don't have soft boil on this Clef, I don't feel comfortable going hard to so I'm actually gonna go Swampert since Cinderace and Excadrill are both down, as he just are we noticing a pattern here? So I'm low enough to where Glide could kill me, but better positioning is certainly Cinderace, because it covers for, because if I go Torn, right, I want to say I never die here. I forgot this interaction. This is something that used to happen. Cinderace isn't as frail as you'd think. It has a little bulk to it sometimes. So +2 is this orb. Yeah. Glide has a 12 motherfucking% chance to kill me. Now, if he's adamant, right? Which, if he's adamant, that means Lele comes in and kills him. I'm willing to risk that. Okay. Ideally, we hit here. How such a beautiful position we'd be in if we connected that. Such a beautiful position. Because we'd have Cinderace around to outspeed her Shifu since we are modest. We don't want that her Shifu potentially. But such is life. Upside, I guess, is I restart the terrain. So we'll sucker here for some damage. He might be modest. He might be jolly, which is why this is really whack. Because he outsped my... He didn't. So he sacks our Shifu to get terrain control back. Problem is you can't commit to Halucha because you can't SD. So I'm more than okay with this situation. In fact, I don't think I ever died a Grassy Glide here. Because what I can do is force him to give me Lele and then, you know, beat Pheromosa. Or I could go... No. I don't think Lele ever dies to Grassy Glide. All these interactions that we gotta learn, bro. Super fun stuff, though. Let's see which terrain. Grassy terrain. Grassy Glide. No, not +2, man. We're not trying to overkill. Oh yeah, I'm mad wrong. Like, I'm super stupid wrong. So Swampert sack here, it's of no use to me. And then we just Moonblast here. Pheromosa gets sacked. Awesome. And so what this means is we can go to you might pivot to Lucha. Actually, we don't even need to switch. I'm tripping. I could see him doubling to Lucha here. Yeah, we didn't need to switch there. That was his only hope. Was that hoping that I went to Torn on his Lucha and then Hurricane missed, then he'd have a shot. But basically there, he knocks himself out with Life Orb, which is something I didn't consider at the time. But yeah, the ladder has been a rough, guys. Rough. Not necessarily even because anybody's skill has changed for the most part, other than the academy, of course. My guys in the academy have been slaying. I gotta show y'all some great things. Spooky is he, the Pokemon king himself that rose from the ashes of the academy has been doing. So very pumped to share that. But yeah, not because the skill. I think there's more activity on the ladder, but it shows. It's interesting. That's what I'll say about that. Yeah, but not because it was like the sets are crazy right now, which I love, because if I came on here and I knew I'd guaranteed win, it's the thing with Pokemon that's beautiful, right? You may not be skill wise equal, but there's so much variance. I don't know anything about this guy's team. He could have a Bandit Tapu Fini with Curse Ferrothorn, the one set that sticks, you know what I mean, and just wreck me because of strategy rather than skill. And so it gives leeway for people who may be just learning to use strategy rather than like chess, where you always have to, you know, it's more skilled player pretty much always wins. Or so I've heard. I've never played it. So let's break this down. Cinderace can be overwhelming depending on rocks plus my hazards plus Cinderace. So he struggles beating Clef offensively, and so Tapu Fini is a funny Pokemon, right? Because right now I could get Nature's Madness. That's what I'm talking about. That's the coolness of it all. So I'm gonna Moonblast here. Excellent. That I made an excellent decision there by going for Moonblast, because that's gonna matter a lot versus my Cinderace, as he actually has knockoff. You hate to see it. Yeah, this is good, especially if he goes Ferrothorn, because I overwhelm him a lot with Lele. So if he opts for allowing his speed steel type to get bopped, the reason this matters again is Cinderace, Hippowdon, and thinking if I want to spike here, or do I want to knock off? I think knock. brings a little more value. No, Spike brings a little more value. If he goes to Zapdos, I'll go Swampert. That means he's committing to Defog, which would mean that he gets the free Defog, and I could have removed his Zapdos' item. But that does mean I get to keep Stealth Rocks, and it forces it as Ferrothorn, which likely will give me the same positioning again, as Ferrothorn will likely force him to switch to Zapdos. What I don't want is for him to go Pheromos on my Ferrothorn. That doesn't give me a lot of mileage. So he goes Ferrothorn on Ferrothorn. Excellent. As we're going to remove this thing's item. And with that in conjunction, I can't speak, in conjunction with Spikes, as he's committing to body pressing, he is faster than me. Because of how scary, or how scared he seems to be of my Finny body press. Interesting. Because this is gonna be important. So let's Pheromone, not Pheromone. So let's what am I trying to say here? Let's I don't need Cinderace to be at full right now. Like if I get Cinderace in with the spike up, I have a lot of offensive presence, right? Because I get to Powerball. I think Band Cinderace personally is my favorite set to use. Probably the best Cinderace set. But you have to know you really got to know what you're doing to maneuver that thing. But if you have Banded Cinderace, like if I had Banded Cinderace, yeah, I 6-0'd him. Like right here, I Powerball for a kill. I don't Powerball for a kill yet, unless he's Spadef Hippo. So that in conjunction with, assuming I hit, of course. Let's find out. Yeah, so he's Spadef, which means that he now dies to high jump kick. Please hit Cinderace. I know I'm asking a lot. Oh. Okay, so be it. So it's time for us to go crazy with Lele. He's Spadef, but because we're a Specs Lele, we don't give a damn. And because he allowed us to get spikes up, the Ferrothorn will be overwhelmed. I doubt Ferrothorn can take 2 from, what will it be at? 63? So he'd be taking less than 30 something. I doubt it. Yeah. Yeah, this is just Lele's back, ladies and gentlemen. Let's not forget who the hell this guy is, right? And so I took quite a bit. So the toxic does matter, you know. I can't pivot around as much as I'd like, but at this point, Cinderace, once it comes in, Powerball to it kills, or Zen Headbutt in conjunction to it kills everything on his team. Defensively, once Cinderace dies, Swampert defensively is very good here too. I'm curious as to what he'd opt for. Maybe Gunk Shot. I don't have too much. Powerball. Excellent. This is excellent. And so we get to find out what his initial switch is gonna be. Well, I guess we don't have to. We can just flip turn. See high jump kicks. Interesting. So he's committing to Okie doke. High jump. I'm actually glad that I flipped turn there, because Earthquake wouldn't have 2-hit killed. But I would have gotten enough to where I think. No, I'm glad I did, because he needs Swampert whittled, and I need his Cinderace gone. So what I'll do is remove his Zapdos' item. This is boots, static, of course. And what I'll do is commit to Clef as he Hurricanes. Makes sense because you're predicting Swampert. You don't want Swampert healing. And so I'm assuming he's gonna defog / discharge here. Depending on what he goes for and how much this does. Wow, he's offensive. Shit. That means the Hurricane has mattered a lot then. Shit, that's very bad for us. The fact that he got the full power. If discharge is 41, he's like, he might be modded. Jesus. This is actually a problem now then. which makes sense why he committed to the Swampert, which yeah, this is a problem now. And because Pheromosa is broken, I can't risk staying in here and letting him do whatever he wants. So we have to give up Ferrothorn here as he hurricanes. That's bad. Discharge at 41 to a damn Clefable. That has to be modest, right? Zapdos. I guess we just gotta manually put this shit in. Let's see if Timid can do the trick. Or we're looking at Clefable or your utility. Alright, and so if they run Discharge, he could have gotten Max. Or he could be modest and got a decent roll. Oh man, this blows. So we got a bank on not. Okay, so he's smart to give me to not risk the Zapdos. Very so it's boosts Pheromosa. Which means he has to be confident that he can do some work versus me. He has to be confident he can. So what I know he won't do is Ice Beam. So he's special. Boost, okay. Which means, you know, I might opt for Shockwave, so I'll Shockwave into that one to a Kale Clef. Not with boots. Ice Beam won't either. Okay. So ideal situation is now I don't like teleport on that. Like non-Sawboil Clef cannot exist in modern times. Or run the teleport, but don't run the this shit ain't it. So now he can actually, if he makes the right switch. So I'll wish here. He could Hacks Fish, it makes sense. What wishing does, it covers for Quiver, because I don't think he wants Pheromosa gone, because it makes for a little more of a So I have to get the Protect off here. I need the extra health to make sure if the Pharaoh gets a Quiver off, I can kill him. So now I have to pray for Hurricane misses. Let's run this calc. I can't believe Clef. You're just used to Clef taking hits, right? So the fact that I'm taking this much. So Hurricane is killing me from here. That wish was gonna be huge. So I think he's gonna discharge here. Hurricanes and misses. Oh, sweet, sweet, sweet taste of justice. Not like it matter. Actually, it might matter. He might not kill me from here. Swampert a bulky enough Pokemon to where I can foresee some. Well, Zapdos is strong though. Finny, I'm glad Finny's in. I don't mind Finny at all, especially because Nocton. I doubt this has Defog. And so ideal situation is to get the excellent, because that means Cinderace goes Brazy now. So I'm gonna flip turn here to get the free switch into this thing, and I'm not switching it out. Into Lele. There we go. Because if I give his you're strong. If I give his Pheromosa a free switch, because it's gonna try to beast boost, I'll let it. Since we got the Protect off, we're high enough to where we can take off Pheromosa. Worst case would be Pheromosa Quiver Dancing and getting a beast boost, then I'd get swept. So let Pheromosa come in, let it Ice Beam. I'll deal with that, and then this allows for Clef to come in, and I'll just Moonblast hard. He's gotten a lot of luck, so I don't think it's right to get more special attack drop. No. I'm outside of the range of Hurricane. He's missed quite a few Hurricanes, so that blows for him. Might be the play too. Because even if I wish, I let him heal. The play here is actually to go hard Cinderace. Yeah, I'll give him Cinderace. Because it made sense for him to commit to, okay, well, I'm going to try to kill your entire team. And so now it's going to come down to hitting here. Thankfully, Torn says no. And now we're in a very good spot. He needs to hope I miss the Hurricane versus so he should Sucker Punch here, yep. Because he's trying to get me low enough to where trying to think. I don't want him Powerball locking. So let's get this health so we can take on that Pheromosa. We're gonna sack Swampert here. So Powerballs. This allows for us to knock, because Knock might not kill. Knock might not kill. Because if he stays in and doesn't sucker, right, Knock might not kill, which is what I wanted. So I get to U-turn out. A U-turn out into Clefable versus Pheromosa, which leaves us in a spot where, oh no, I'm not saying GG until I see this thing vanish. And I with how many, this game has been a funny one. Okay, so that was a wonky game. He played well. Like, there's certain things that happened to me that made me put me in a bad spot, and happened to him that put him in a bad spot. All his Hurricane misses mattered. All my Paraxes mattered. I'm not sure who would have had the slider upper hand, honestly. Part of me thinks that he might have had the upper hand because I was so weak to Zapdos and didn't realize it, like offensive Zapdos. Oh, is that why? Really? I didn't know that. Which one is more important though? I'm not feeling not having Soft Boil. Let me see what would be, because obviously I'll likely pass this team to you guys. This Clef has too many rolls to not have Soft Boil too. Let's use knockoff or something. Just hard switch. So grab one more. I was thinking like, okay, if we 16 minutes. Sorry, there I was talking to myself. Interesting rain team. Barraskewda, you hate to see it. Not with my Ferrothorn being Spadef and be my one Water Resist. But I think Cinderace is one of those mons that can really come shining here. Especially because he can't guard well against high jump kick. He has Buzzwole, but I have Powerball and Zen, which is important. Also, Tornadus is going to be very, very critical in this game. Tornadus and Lele Overwhelming is going to be very critical. Let's see. I definitely want to play the hazard game to punish Barraskewda primarily. And so Swampert's core purpose in this is to perform as a mag switch and something can come in on Buzzwole, partly. Clefable for Urshifu somewhat, depending on the one he is. If he's the Rapid Strike, which is more likely, then I gotta be careful even more so. But that does give Cinderace a bit of leeway because I can just Zen headbutt that. Ferrothorn has to be kept at the utmost at all times.
Torn as well. In Cinderace, good predictions, good plays, and a lot of mileage. So Pelipper is starting this game off, which I'm more than happy to see. Do I want to shut off his rain? I'd much rather get the damage, because I figured Mag would come in, but the upside of Mag is I get to knock into what I'm expecting to be Flare Cannon. And so this allows for me to U-turn, pivot into Swamp on his VS, which allows for me to get those free rocks that hurt Pelipper and hurt everything else. So since he's committing to Ferrothorn, which, you know, is likely going to be the case after some time. Question is, do I commit to hazards heavy here? Because no, so I'll Cinderace first, because what I'm expecting is Buzzwole. We can Zen actually. I knew, like, my gut was like he's gonna stand. Why would you even stand? I'll high jump kick. Okay, I completely disagree with him saying it. Upside, unless this is Rapid Strike, because his rain's about to wear off, so he's gonna go for no, let's Lele. His core purpose in this one is to do what it's about to do. Do what it's about to damn do with these Spec Psychics. So he's Spadef Ferrothorn, which made even less sense to stay in. Okay, so he's a Spiker. Interesting. Okay, so he has Gyro and interesting stuff. So we high jump kick here again. Pelipper gets punished heavy if, okay, excellent. So he sacks Pharaoh. Pelipper gets punished heavy here. Cinderace core purpose, you know, Barraskewda, you know, is helpful. It's actually pretty problematic for him to switch into. Trying to think, because he's trying to position himself to where I can't defog. Sucker doesn't really give a lot of. I want my Swampert because I want Rock Stills to stay up, and then Ferrothorn is insanely important for that Rapid Strike. Otherwise, it can just go for whatever it wants. And so, Clefable makes the most sense to me. I eat Flip Turn. Damn, that did a lot. I quote unquote eat Flip Turn. Forces in Mag to take another round of rocks. So every time I go to my alright, I don't have Protect anymore. I was gonna say I'll just Protect. But every time I go to my Flare Cannon, Volt Switch, probably Trick and Cinder Dice to Volt Switch from here. Tough turn. Honestly, probably Clef is my weakest link here. My thing is, after that, I have to predict, which I don't want to have to do yet. So if I Ferrothorn hard, if he Volt Switches, I think I can afford to, since Spike and Rocks won't do too much. 82%, that's solid. Okay. And so it comes down to, does he like Focus Blast, something of that nature? If he is Focus Blast, thinking would I rather have Spikes for that turn? Does that mean any more important KOs? Because then he'd have to hit 2. And I'd much rather have Leech Seed in on Buzzwole or Pelipper to get his rain back up. Because he could commit to tricking too. In which case I know he's going to Volt Switch the next turn, which allows for a Spike. Since I'm not sure if I can get the defog. Come on, don't do this to me. Don't do this to your boy. Okay, so he Volt Switches, which is best case. So him Volt Switching there's better for me to Leech Seed than to Because I could also be a Jaraball. You could miss. I could be a Jaraball variant. There are a lot of things that could go wrong there, as Rapid Strike rears its ugly head. I still have my boots. 0% chance he CCs, but so a Pelipper double. I'm actually more than happy with a Pelipper double. More than happy with a Pelipper double. Honestly, I'm very tempted to. So if I wish and he brings in Magirna, I get Moonblast damage. If I wish and he brings in Rapid Strike, no, he brings in Rapid Strike. So let him U-turn, force Maggin, because I'm going to outplay now. He doesn't want Ferrothorn in. And I don't want him going randomly to Barraskewda or Rapid Strike or Shifu here. It would make sense for me to go for Wish or Sawboy. Right, there we go. My goal is like, he'd probably go to one of his water types. And I cannot have that. I cannot have that. And so, Clef is a little better than Swampert, but oh, he actually, I don't disagree with the close combat play. I think you have to semi-bank on me doing some dumb shit like switching out as he commits to Surging Strike. Makes sense. And so unless this is Scarf, this allows for me to Hurricane freely. Forces Mag in as I get to give up my Swampert. He actually has Ice Beam, which is good for him because he gets to Flare Cannon here. Problem is now I get to go to my Cinderace. Yeah, well, I get to go to Lele too, but Cinderace is a little better. It's actually not. But Powerball, I'll just say JK. If I miss, at least he. So basically, what I was trying to do is avoid a situation where, I mean, Lele wins, but I'm trying to avoid. Because Powerball has the same accuracy as High Jump Kick. So if I was going to use one, I was going to High Jump Kick. That's pretty whack. Upside, I get to lead Seed here and then, you know, just secure the bag with Ferrothorn and Lele. As we spike here again. Pelipper comes in. I'm guessing he's going to commit to defogging. Ferrothorn's too problematic though. Because now if I go to my Torn, see defogs as he should. Yeah. Yep. Should die, no, doesn't die. D goes for Hurricane, which wasn't the play. I mean, he goes for, just Hurricane here and then Psychic twice. ZVS's game. You know, always trying to play in a way where we can use as little hacks as possible and as little variance as possible. Like, you don't know what he's thinking or if he is. And people sometimes hear me say that and think it's like an insult, but like, if you've played on the ladder or if you're at a certain point, sometimes you're just not thinking. Like, that's a very real thing. Not in like a disrespectful way, but that's just something you haven't learned. Like to think, okay, what's my game plan? And I'm gonna be making videos on these, but that's something you have to consider when you're laddering too, guys. This is why I emphasize game plans so much, because in that one, even though honestly it could have been cleaner, but we focus on what we did well. I could have played that more cleanly. He had the slight edge in the sense of the Urshifu and the Barraskewda were massive problems because Ferrothorn was my only mag answer, and so I couldn't use it as a proper water resistance. So the fact that he switched Barraskewda in on my Clefable and then close combated, those were unnecessary predictions. Now, I said I didn't disagree with the close combat on the off chance he was hoping I'd make a misplay of going to Ferrothorn. But it still wasn't the correct decision. Even going Barraskewda to begin with wasn't the correct decision, you know?
So it's just you just gotta play the game, not the opponent sometimes. But yeah, rambling aside, we got a good bit there. Should have gotten about 50 points back, and then get them back. I'm having a blast though. Check out these teams that are coming. Check out these teams, y'all. Y'all left me with some squads. Look at this. Polyrath. My man Jared logged in just to do that. Assault Vest Dragalgi. Let me know in the comments down below which one you're trying to. Look at this. Hail, Arctozolt, Moltrace. Some of them are starting to get a little too crazy. Tyrantrum, like the Arctozolt, one of the Spooky Z's teams. So yeah, let me know, guys. Hit the like button. Thank you so much for watching as usual, and I'll see you in the next one.